What's up, everybody? Welcome to Books and Brewskies, episode number 9 here at Moody Mansion in the Books and Brewskies studio. I'm here with Shane Moody, as always.
What's up?
Today we got Marcus.
Oh, hello. That's quite the introduction.
You're welcome.
I mean, you didn't say my last name, though.
That's okay.
Markus Miller.
Thank you. Let the people know.
No, I was just saying Marcus.
Shane got me.
That's all right.
Markus Miller. Unified awesomeness of jumping and flying. This dude has springs in his legs.
Yeah.
He likes to fly.
Yeah.
If you see some guy flying over your house, probably Marcus.
Yeah.
It's not a spaceship. It's not a plane.
Yeah, I like to jump. I like to jump over
Marcus
stuff.
Miller.
Marcus did high jumping in college.
Yeah.
He works with us.
Yeah.
Well, me.
Marcus.
But he's one of our trainees and he does fly. So we'll be showing some videos on Instagram that you guys can see.
Markus Miller
jumping.
__.
Marcus flies.
That's not the name.
But we're glad we got him. Marcus.
Marcus at marcusflies.com.
Nope.
We're glad we got you over though with the whole quarantine situation right now.
Seriously. No. Happy to be
Podcast
here.
9 brought to you by Quarantine.
That's the good thing about podcasts is we can still do podcasts. Look, it's only a gathering of 3. We don't have 5 people here, so you know.
I think it was less than 10. Are we down to 5 now?
I think it's less.
No,
than-
don't say
and
that.
so
It's
much-
10.
It's 10.
But we're not 6 feet apart, so we got it.
We're still touching, but it's
Good. Don't bad bro. Dang.
But anyways, we do have. Oh yeah, we got 2 brewskis.
We're going 2 brewskis today. We'll
We're
introduce
double up.
double fisting.
Well, of course,
Oh,
dude.
God.
We're quarantined. Who isn't gonna be double fisting?
Well, we're actually triple fisting because you and I have also G&T, which makes a little monster.
And I have Stella.
And he has a Stella.
Marcus has a Stella.
Because I'm classy. Bougie.
Basically just expensive Coors Light.
How dare you?
It's
sir.
so true.
It's so true.
All right, so first
Introduce
beer
us to our
Marcus
brewskis.
cracked open, and then I cracked open following him, and then Shane did it as well.
That's good.
It's called the Beehive. It's a honey wheat. It's from Bristol Brewing Company in Colorado Springs. Essentially, I'm just going to read straight off their website. Per usual, this is American Wheat Ale. Holy shit. I can't talk today. This is American Wheat Ale, unfiltered. It's 4.4%. Definitely sunshine in a glass. Beehive is a joy to drink with its beautiful honey gold color and refreshing full-flavored body. For our version of the classic American wheat, we use less to row and more Munich malt for depth and soften the edges with the lightness of wheat. Local Black Forest honey adds character without sweetness, and the Black Forest is in Colorado Springs. It's also where Marcus got married last summer.
Black Forest. So this is from Black Forest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dope. Yeah, I did get married there last summer.
Did you mean to do that, Christian? That was so.
I didn't, but I just kind of threw that in there.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, it was Casey's, my wife. Her parents have well, I'm not going to tell you where it is. But they have land out there in Black Forest. It's awesome. It's a beautiful place. And they offered to host us for our wedding. So it worked out awesome. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that, but I heard it was fun.
Weren't
You got Jake and
You were
Christian ended up
you were
staying at my
you
house.
were in
Really?
I was
Lake Powell.
Yeah, I was in
You
Lake
were-
Powell.
yeah, Lake Powell,
I was
yeah.
in Lake Powell.
Yeah.
Jake
I
and
did
I-
invite everybody though. So it's fun.
Jake and I were here, trashed.
Yeah, trash.
Yeah, y'all got wasted. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks fun.
It was
I
a
was
fun wedding.
looking at all the photos and videos. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
It was fun. Yeah, we had a banging DJ and it was awesome. It was really
It was
cool.
an open bar, aka go grab
It
a
was.
bottle of alcohol and take it back to your table bar.
Seriously, we had so much alcohol. The next morning, the barn smelled so awful. Like you're hungover, you got the hair of the dog, all that stuff. You go in the barn we went and cleaned it out, and I almost threw up. I was like, yeah, I can't go in there. Like, it's too strong. It was pretty intense, but yeah, it was cool. It was great. It was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. What do you think about the Beehive? It's
Marcus, you took the first sip of it and you're like,
I
ooh.
did. I like it. I mean, I like sweet stuff because I'm kind of soft like that when it comes to alcohol.
it's like it is sweet.
Yeah, it's sweet. Honey wheat.
I don't know what it tastes like.
It's hard. It's hard. This one's I don't want to say dull, but I want to say like sweet and then fizzes out. Like it just it doesn't give you an a long taste. You know what I'm saying? Like a long lasting taste.
New term
after you
here
drink
on
it.
Books and Brewskis.
See, we're always making
After
new terms.
long,
Just make sure.
essentially,
Football. After long.
after long is essentially just what an aftertaste is, but that's in Shane's world. So after long.
I don't know why I'm on this podcast because I don't know shit about beer. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I drink whatever kind of just is in front of me whenever I go out. Like, honestly,
so you're an expert. You just whatever's handed to you, you drink.
Yeah, I guess, but I can't describe it to you. I'm just like, foamy. It's tasty.
What do you think of the Beehive?
So if I had to, you know, take my expertise and kind of break it down.
Give us a couple words
Okay.
that describe it.
It's good. I'm gonna say the pinup girl on the logo is a little regressive. It is 2020. I don't know why they decided to go with that, but you know, I'm feeling a little like a little triggered right now. I don't know. There's something going on. But no, it's great.
It takes me back to like Gunther Tootie's breakfast.
Yeah. No, but it's good. I like it. It's cool that it is from Colorado Springs. I like to, especially in times like these, I think we need to support local businesses and make sure that the places we like stay open. We keep being patrons to those places, and I think that's really important. So
That's
cool. For us right now, saying that
so all of us in the sports world.
Technically, we just got quarantined.
yeah,
Well, I wouldn't say quarantine. We didn't quarantine. Like, you guys just shut down. We just shut down.
Well, I'm just saying, like, we've actually, like, everyone who's been, like, in their house, we've actually been training and kind of still out there in the world while everyone's kind of sitting down. Yeah. Now we officially got pushed back. And now it's we're basically on lockdown.
I mean, it's not like a governmental lockdown yet, but it's, you know, it's March 21st.
We can't do our jobs. We're gonna be.
That's true.
Like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but like this week I'll probably be out at a park somewhere and I'm making the weight room mobile.
Well, I was just talking about
under the table. Maybe.
I was just
I do not represent the policies and procedures of Elite Speed, but no, we are shut down unfortunately, and you know, it was kind of surreal just leaving the gym today.
Not knowing you're going to be back.
Not knowing when or
if
or you know, all that stuff. But I think obviously we're gonna make it through. But it's just crazy. The only thing I really wanted to say about this is that, you know, you shut down these private sports performance companies, you shut down these private gyms, and you might not have an industry of private performance and private gyms left. So I think we really need to just, you know, support those places that, you know, are good for our communities and good for the people, and do the best we can. But it's crazy, it's unprecedented, so no one really knows what to do.
Well, especially like you saying, like even small businesses and like just business, like all small businesses that do have a big role in this world, that we gotta, like, I think sometimes we take advantage of that, and now we realize, like, oh shoot, like this was a big part of my life and it's a small business, and now if they go out, like that's tough on a lot of people. So it's a very stressful situation. I think I've looked at it, I mean, you do got to take the positives of trying to bring the community together, and I think as we as people have to learn how to, I don't know who was saying it, what's his name, Matthew McConaughey was talking about, like he had a little video, he had a little video, and he was talking about how, you know, it's been a while since the U.S. has come together as people, he felt like, and he's like, this is a time that we got to bond together and actually show what we're about, you know what I'm saying? And I think you just take that in, like, you know, grain of salt of just knowing, like, we're all in this together. Not one single person's not in this. And the biggest thing is, like, how do we all come together and say, hey, like, we do need to think about bringing love and everything like that as much as we can, I guess, and stop thinking about the negatives as much as we can. But I don't know. It's just one of those situations where we haven't lived through it. So this is our first time, like, understanding this and saying, shoot, like, the economy is going down. This is real. So we have to take this as realistic as we can, you know?
Yeah.
So I was at the nutrition company yesterday. But for those of you that don't live in Colorado and those of you do, nutrition companies where a lot of us get our supplements from. It's off Hamden and I-25, so go help out your dude Brian. But I was there yesterday. He's like, I don't think they're ordering anything new, because I asked him if they had a vanilla protein, or not a vanilla, banana protein. He's like, nah, bro, we don't got anything else. So I grabbed the vanilla. But go support, like, all the small, like, local stuff. Like, go support, like if you know, like, it's a mom and pop shop, or, you know, like, go hang out with them, go get something from them, order some food from them, whatever it is. One positive I did see today, and it's not going to last just because it's the way the world is right now. 50% of the CO2 output into the world has decreased.
Mm-hmm.
And it has brought down, if you look at like, there was some map, I don't remember where I found it, over China, there's zero pollution. My dad was telling me this morning that in Venice, they can see the bottom of the canals now, which they haven't been able to see for like 100 years, and they can see fish and shit floating around.
I mean, that's cool. Part of that is like, there's no boats moving the sand around.
It's true.
in Venice.
That's true.
So that's cool. I mean, that's cool. I think, obviously, we're just, like I told them earlier, we're just a couple assholes talking in a basement. But the thing is, we do have, you know, some impact for sure. And whenever the human element is kind of taken out, it's kind of interesting to see all the things that happen. But yeah, I was at, Casey and I ordered pizza last night from our favorite pizza place because we were like, we don't really want to cook. I was hungry. I'm about to plug them right now. Walter's 303 Pizzeria. It's there's one off like Pearl Street, like uptown Denver, and then there's one in Littleton and one in Colorado Springs. It is the best pizza I've ever had, and they were open and thriving. Like they were so busy, and I was like, man, this is awesome to see because one, people still need like everything's gonna normalize. That's the thing people need to realize, and this is what I try to tell my athletes too. Like, yeah, your season may be over. You know, I train a lot of track athletes, so a lot of them are really up in the air right now if their season's going to continue. And you know, the biggest thing I think I try to get them to understand is things are going to go back to normal. They're going to normalize. You want to take advantage of this time to develop yourself as a person, as an athlete, and really go through something. Because a lot of people actually don't go through a whole lot, you know, when they're in high school, and this is probably as adverse as it can get for you. So just how you respond to it, you can control that. You can't control, you know, whether the government shuts you down or your high school kicks you out or whatever, but you can, there's a lot of things you can control. You can go to a park, you can, you know, until they start policing people and I don't know.
Hey, as long as you're under groups of 10.
Yeah, we're good right now. I don't know.
And you're 6 feet apart.
Yeah, no one knows how it's going to shake out, but the number one thing I try to get them to understand through all this is you have to be a little bit optimistic and realize like, look, this is just development time that if I were in my sport, I wouldn't have. So, you know, as of right now, sports are only off until April 17th. We'll see how that goes. But you got to take advantage of this. You might have a short season, but you got to take advantage of this time because otherwise you're just going to sit around and you're going to miss it. You're going to miss this time.
I mean, I saw a great tweet today. It was like, in the fall, and this is obviously looking into one sport, but the fall, I think it was a football coach. He's like, we're really going to know what football players were actually putting in the work when nobody was watching.
That's a good point.
Well, I think it's for everyone in general. Like Marcus was saying, is you're sitting in the position right now, most people don't have work, or if they do, you know, they're at home and they don't spend all day now with work. We take back this like fast-paced life that we've been in for so long. And now you have a chance to really look at yourself in the mirror and say,
it's hard to slow down.
Yeah, but you really get to look at yourself and say, okay, what am I going to do with this time? Like this is awesome. This is also like big, great things can happen in this time when you have so much more free time to do things. Go do other things that you love. If you can do them at your house or whatever, you can figure out a lot about yourself, and you could see like after however long this lasts, 2 months or 3 months or whatever, you could come back from this and say, damn, like I came out a great person after this. So I think it's your mindset of, are you just going to sit around and waste this time and say, I'm just going to sit around the house and do nothing? Or am I actually going to do something with my life and make another impact when all this is back to normal?
No, I love that. I love that.
And that's huge.
Yeah, I love that. I was just going to say that. I was talking to one of my athletes about that, like literally today and yesterday. It was like, you know, now you have time.
Yes.
And you know, you're gonna sit idle, and you can start thinking about things. For some of my athletes, I tell them to keep training journals and write notes about the workouts and how they feel and this and that. And I'm like, look, you're still gonna have the training journal. You may as well just take the extra time to really dive deep into how you feel, what's going on. Write it down, process it, all that stuff. And you know, we've had some really good conversations with some of my athletes about. Like, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's crazy. It's unprecedented. I think the best thing to do is, you know, look to your community leaders. Look to, you know, whatever the government says we got to do. Unfortunately, if that means we have to shelter in place and whatnot. I mean, I don't know. I was looking at other states, and I don't think anyone is saying that exercise itself is non-essential. So like, you're allowed to exercise. You're allowed to go outside. You're allowed to do like go to the park, whatever. It's just, take advantage and really, like Shane said, do some reflecting. And I think that's really important because athletes specifically, I know this podcast is more than just athletes, but this is my world. This is the bubble I live in. Athletes don't take the time to really look at and evaluate what they want and how to get there because they're so caught up in the just go. I only have so much time. I only have, these 4 years and I want to accomplish these things. Well, how are you going to accomplish these things? And does what you want match up with what you're actually doing? I think that's often rare. Often rare. Whatever.
No, I mean, even going off that, like with athletes, I'm just saying, when has there actually been a point in our life that we didn't have school or work? Like one of those two, that our daily life was filled with other stuff.
Summer break. But I know what you mean.
What I'm saying, but
summer break.
Yeah, but honestly, what I'm saying is a lot of people, you realize, like, think if you really don't have a job right now, let's say you just don't have a job and you don't have any online stuff, and you're sitting at your house the whole day, you actually get to sit here and be like, what is life really about? What is life like truly about? Like, you realize that I've been my whole life either going to school, in a sport, going to work, and everything like that. Now you actually get to take a time and do something that you haven't been able to do for yourself. You get what I'm saying? And it's small things, like literally things that you could be pushing off day to day. Maybe, like, honestly, it could be as simple as like, shit, I needed to clean out some stuff in my closet. Like, just small things, like some stuff in my closet, or I need to clean up my computer, or I need to self-reflect on what I've been doing or who I am as a person. Like, just small things like that. Or you take stuff like, for me, let's say I get to sit here and now I can play guitar for a longer time. Like, stuff that you could, like, skills that you wanted to build and you haven't had time to do, now you get to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And the mental skills as well.
And the mental skills and everything. So it's just it's a weird situation where I guess we'll see some people are going to be down here after 3 months or wherever, and then some people are going to be way up here, and we'll see kind of who put time and effort into themselves.
But again, that goes back to who we are as us sitting in this room. We're leaders of young men and women, and we want to get them to understand, like, hey, we're all going to be okay. It's going to go back to normal, and they're looking to us for examples on how to be. And look, this is just more time that you have to work on yourself and how you adapt to things. That's true in life. Once you leave sports, it's like, how do you adapt to adversity, and how do you how are you handling what the external world is throwing at you? You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of on us as leaders as well to help guide these people. And I cherish this time because it's not often that people, get to stop and reflect. So yeah,
exactly.
Coronavirus stuff, stupid. Sucks.
I'd say my only take on that as an athlete, and I was thinking about this as you were talking, both you guys were talking, really, as an athlete, if you're a football player, lacrosse player, track, whatever it is, find, like, whatever position you play, whatever sport it is, whatever it may be, find the best dudes that have ever played that position in the last 10 years and watch the shit out of their film, whether it be game film, just shit on YouTube, whatever it is, and study it. Learn how they, like, as a football, if you're a quarterback, right? And I'm only saying this because I have a huge football background. Go watch Peyton Manning, go watch Tom Brady, go watch those guys, right? Well, Peyton Manning has a ton of videos out there, how he studies film, watches film, kind of goes through his day-to-day. Learn that and take it on for yourself, because if you want to be the starting quarterback at your high school next fall, or the starting quarterback at your college next fall, and you didn't have spring ball to prove that, go show it this summer in the weight room, and go show it this fall during fall camp, whatever it is, right? Yeah. Take that leap forward against the people that you're trying to compete against on your own team, right? Study the shit out of your craft.
Opportunities, not setbacks, right?
Exactly.
You just gotta, it's how you perceive it. Perception is reality, right? So you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of everything in front of you, even if it's, and this is so hard, man. I just feel for some of these people who are preparing for the Olympic Games, and they're so uncertain. I mean, the International Olympic Committee is being very flaky on just kind of getting into the weeds and whatnot, but they're being so flaky on their decision making, and there's like 4 months left, and all of these poor athletes who are preparing for the Olympic Games, who maybe have a real shot at it this year after not for the last 2016 for Rio, It's so hard. I feel for him. You know, I have a good friend of mine who's preparing, and you know, his whole season is up in the air.
Yeah.
It's tough, but I asked him what he's going to do, and he's like, I just got to keep doing the same thing. I just got to keep moving on. I just got to act like things are going to be okay, and you just got to keep going. So life does not stop. Things go back to normal. What are you going to say about the time you put in and the effort you put in during this time, I should say. That's really important.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway,
But
coronavirus.
going off that, yeah. We didn't want to talk too much about it, but we've already talked about it, but that's all right. So, going off that, tell us, Marcus, like a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, kind of about your childhood, and kind of take us through your life, and we'll kind of go through there.
Who is the Marcus?
Who is
the
Marcus
Miller
Miller?
Jumps?
No, Miller Jumps is dead. I don't use that anymore. Don't go on that page.
Okay.
I don't post enough, so I just went to one social media. Anyway, yeah, man, I don't know. So I grew up in a small town, southern New Mexico, Alamogordo, New Mexico. Shout out to the Tigers, shout out to White Sands, Mitchell Range, shout out to all the drug addicts out there. They're doing the damn thing. It was cool. I was raised by mostly my mom. My dad was a little troubled. I can't really go into this without just saying everything. So, my mom had me when she was 18. She got pregnant at 17, senior in high school. And my dad was, I think, at his heart, a good person mixed in with, bad crowd, bad people. And the only reason I say that I think he's a good person is because he loved me unconditionally. And he showed me nothing but the most love. Anyway, so then, my mom was obviously doing her thing. She was working 2, maybe 3 jobs sometimes. And my grandparents, I spent a lot of time around my grandparents, so they helped raise me, and I'm so close to them. I love them to death. I don't know. So I was young when that was happening. I don't know, like 8. And then my mom met this guy, Joey. Great guy, great stepdad. He was a really, really good stepdad to me. Helped me through some of the toughest times in my life. My dad ended up in prison, and then got out of prison after about 6 years or so, and then ended up taking his own life when he went back to prison. He just couldn't stomach the idea of being in jail again, and after spending 6 years in there. And I don't know how many people expected this to get that deep that fast, so sorry, but it's all good. I have no problem talking about it. I think this is what made me who I am. It's a big piece of what made me who I am, and going back to how you process the world, it showed me a lot about, I guess, the way that I see the world. I didn't even know it. You see things I saw my mom working really, really hard when I was really young. She was working 2, sometimes 3 jobs. I'd have to walk home from school. I'd have to walk to her workplace at, the gas station or whatever. Or I remember her trying to teach me how to, the route to walk home from the elementary school to the commissary where she worked, or the BX, whatever. Anyway, so I'm all over the place. So my mom met this guy, Joey, who's a really great guy, had a kid with him, my half-brother, Zach, who I'm very close with. I love him to death. He's the best. Yeah, man, I don't know. I guess all that to say, I was in sports because of my dad and all that stuff. I wanted to be like him, so badly. He was a big football guy, and he loved football, and he was a big track guy too. He loved track. So I kind of went that direction. And then when he passed away, I really, really threw myself at track really hard because.
And how old were you when he passed away?
I was 14.
So getting right into high school.
Yeah. So I was 14. It was my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
February. Yeah. So February 2008. So I was 14, and that was so hard. I just remember out of all the things, I remember going up to my head track coach at the time, who was a really great guy and mentor to me in those early years, and track had just started. I was so excited to be at track practice. Like it was the second week or so of track practice, and I go to him and I was like, "Hey, Coach Bryant, so just so you know, like just the insecure 14-year-old that I was, just so you know, like I really want to be here, and I'm really excited about track, but my dad passed away yesterday." And he was like, "Well, son, you don't have to be here." And I was like, no, this is what he would want. Like, I want to be here. And he was like, "Okay." And he just like pat me on the back, gave me a little hug, and he was like, "Well, I'm here for you." And just, it was such a weird time because, man, it was in the paper, it was in the paper. And I remember going to school, like literally probably like 2 days later. I think I missed one day, but I remember going to school and like seeing it in the paper, and I was like, what the hell? Like my life was just kind of like on a magnifying glass for a second. It was the weirdest kind of experience.
Yeah.
Especially because no one really knew who he was, but he was so important to me, even though he may not have been around my whole life. Like I know how much he loved me. I know how much, anyway. That was by far, I think, one of the defining moments in my life, or at least the first one that I can remember in my formative years to kind of set the stage for things to come. So anyway, I threw myself really hard in the track, loved it, fell in love. I kind of started as like a sprinter first, like 200, 400, and then found high jump and fell in love with high jump. I love the process. I love how I was able to like me against me, be creative in that aspect of like, hey, I can do this however I want to, right? Like I didn't know anything. I had no coaching. I was like looking up my freshman year, I looked up the world record holder in high jump, and I basically just did his exact same approach. This is like a 35-year-old man. He was on drugs probably from Cuba. Like he set the world record. Like I'm just a 14-year-old 90-pound kid from Alamogordo, New Mexico. And I was like, I'm gonna do that approach. Yeah. So I would like mimic him, and people are like looking at me crazy, like, why is your approach like back at the midpoint of the football field? Like, why are you so far back? Like, don't worry about it. I know what I'm doing. So anyway, ended up kind of excelling, I guess, a little bit in high jump. Through high school, went to the University of New Mexico, where I mostly did high jump there. And that's where this, I guess, second maybe defining moment of my life where I met my wife, Casey. She was a freshman, I was a sophomore. She was a long jumper there.
Oh, high school sweethearts?
No, college.
Oh, college.
High school sweetheart thing.
Get your timeline together, Shane.
Yeah.
I was so soaked into the other part.
No, you're good. And I'm kind of rambling. But yeah, so she was a long jumper and multi-event athlete there. And really, I think, I don't know how to wrap this all up. There's a lot of things that happened. But essentially, I had a really good coach my sophomore and junior year of high school, who really showed me like, hey, this is what like real attentive quality training looks like from someone who also cares about you as a person, and you're not just a number. You're not just like a stat to pad their career record or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And it was, he left after my junior year, moved away to our rival high school. And so that was really tough. But I actually like talked on the phone with him like every single day, every single weekend for like 3 to 4 hours every weekend. It was crazy. Wow. And he mentored me and helped me, and basically was the reason why I got into coaching, because I was like, man, the impact that he had on my life at that time whenever I didn't have a dad, and my grandpa was always there and he was always like that father figure for me, but to have him kind of show me, I don't think he knows this, so if he listens to this, it's gonna be kind of weird, but to have him show that kind of fatherly affection and care towards me in the sports world was just eye-opening. It was life-changing, and I wanted to have that kind of influence on someone else, and not from like a selfish standpoint, but because I know how powerful that can be to communities, because now like look at all the people that I'm affecting in my community because of him. I think that was like really important for me to go through and him to show me, so I'm eternally grateful to him for that. And Coach Henry Stillers, he's the man. He knows his stuff, and he's one of the most passionate people I've ever met. Anyway, so I I guess that's my life. I don't know. College, I covered high school. Dad died, check. Met Casey, check. She would be mad if I didn't say that. College, check. Yeah, I did that thing in college. It was cool.
How would you say, like your coach helping you out through high school, how would you say that kind of followed you into college and followed you into in high jumping in college, and kind of how that, I mean, having him, did you stay in contact with him in college, and was he still part of a mentor throughout your whole life? Do you still stay in contact with him?
Totally. Yeah, so it's kind of weird. So he's actually a sprint coach. So he got me to believe in myself in the sprinting world. And, I was a 400 runner. I was a weird high jumper because I also really like to run the 400, and college coaches or just coaches in general don't like that combination. It's real inside baseball stuff, whatever. So I absolutely stayed in contact with him through college for sure. After college too, like we still talk. I haven't talked to him in a little while now. I hope he's doing really well. But yeah, absolutely still talk. I think, I don't know, to talk to your question, I kind of forgot the question, but essentially
just how has he, the coach, impacted you from high school and into college, and how that took you to that next level? So
the problem was actually, and it was more of a problem, is, training, when you train with someone like that who has your best interest in mind and really, really cares about you, and they also know what the heck they're talking about, and they're really good at getting results. Whenever you go to someone else who like doesn't really care about you that much, maybe doesn't know as much, it
brings a different vibe.
It's a different vibe, and I liken it to the Matrix, like taking the red pill. Like you take the blue pill to stay in the Matrix, and you're like everything's good, ignorance is bliss, all that stuff. And then like you have a coach who's like really opens your eyes to, hey, this is how it could be though, and these are all the things you're gonna face. It's like, man, would I go back and take the blue pill? No, there's no way, because that influenced, I think, how I coach my athletes today. Like, look, these are the realities of the situation, and this is what you're gonna face, and this is how to handle it, because things might be good now. You might love your coach now while you're in high school. That's great. But I went through a situation where I loved my coach as a person. I really did. And I liked him as a coach as well. Like, he was a good coach. But I saw plenty of coaches around me that didn't give a shit about their people. They really didn't care. Or if they tried to show it, they didn't know how. And in a sport like track and field, where your coach is like your lifeline, and every relationship that each athlete has with that coach is so individual and unique. If it's not good, then you're gonna suffer for like 4 or 5 years or however long you stay there. And I think I was an underachiever in college. I definitely think that my physical ability didn't match my performances. And a lot of that was me, a lot of it was mental, but a lot of it was not having that guidance from someone who actually knew me, really knew me, and
how to trigger, like hit trigger points and get that out of you.
Absolutely. So again, I love my coach as a person, and I do think he genuinely cared. He just didn't have the time or resources available to him to take the attention towards me and give me what I needed. So it was really college and training with my or talking, I guess, with my high school mentor that shaped me into the coach that I am, because I was like, look, I'm never going to like leave anyone behind, right? There's never going to be an athlete that trains with me who doesn't feel like they get all my attention, they get all my care. I care about them the most when we're together, And in the private sector, that's a little easier. It is, because we schedule one-on-one appointments or small groups or whatever, so it's easier to make that effort towards building that one-on-one relationship. However, I often think about if I were in the public sector and if I were training at a college or high school, how I would try, well, especially at college, maybe not so much high school, it's tough, you have 100 kids out there, but especially college, you have your group.
Yeah, you still have your group.
You have your group, you have your 10,
still have to
12,
build personal relationships, you have to, and I think a lot of coaches fail at that. At a college level too, like even though you have a big team of 40 people, you still have to build relationships. No matter how many people you have to learn. And we talked about that like 4 episodes ago a little bit. I'd said Gary Vee talked about owners of a company.
Yeah.
If you have 310 employees, you have to have 310 different relationships.
Hell yeah.
That's how you keep that's how you keep personal relationships. That's how you keep people around, people who are loyal to you. And that's a part of life.
That's exactly
You just
right.
have to learn how to do it.
People have to buy into
They
what
have to buy
what
into
you're trying to sell.
to.
And selling's not the right word, but what you're trying to sell. Like whether you're an owner of a
What you're
company,
trying to bring to
you're
the
trying to
table.
sell your culture. If you're a coach of a team, you're trying to sell your program or whatever like offense you're trying to run, whatever
They have to believe.
anything like that, right? So you have to be able to sell yourself for people to buy in, especially us in the performance sector or the private sector. In the performance world, we can't just be doing like a CrossFit workout and be like, this is going to work for you to sell you to the next level. It's like we have to get that kid or that parent or whoever it may be to buy into what we believe we can help that athlete do.
Have you guys ever seen Last Chance U?
Oh,
The newest season. Have you guys seen it?
I haven't
Or
seen
not,
it.
maybe not the newest season.
favorite show. I
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
it in 2 days.
So that's the thing. So Coach Jason Brown at Independence, like, was he the greatest football mind in the world?
Probably
not. But he said something that kind of rubbed me the wrong way at first, and then when I thought about it, I was like, there's probably something to that. He said, I don't even gotta teach football. These kids just gotta believe in me, and they'll run through a brick wall for me. And I was like, you gotta know what you're talking about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta, or a lot, probably,
A lot.
especially once you get to a certain level. But if someone really believes that you have their best interest at heart, then they will run through a brick wall for you.
People will
And
get your back.
Yeah, and you show that you have their back, and again, it rubbed me the wrong way at first, but then I thought about it. I was like, he's probably right, and those kids did care about him at least from what the show showed us. It's kind of hard to see, but
Well, if you think about it, and I'm not going to name the place, but there's a place that tends to deal with a lot of football guys in Colorado that gets a lot of dudes to the next level, right? In that place, they may not have the best strength and conditioning, they may have the best speed work, but they know their football, and those guys that go there will run through a wall for that guy that's getting them to that next level because they produce so many damn athletes that get them to the D1, D2 level. Dudes will run through a wall at that place, and that's the thing is like you don't have to be the Jason Browns of the world that may not be the best at your craft of coaching football, but if you can get guys to buy into your program and what you're trying to sell and what you're trying to do, people will just run alongside you.
Yeah, I think buy-in is huge, man. And even in, obviously I come from a track background, but in the football world, you still have your position coaches, you still have your skill coaches, and you have your skill group. So that coach should be, setting individual meetings with those people and saying like, how are you? Like what's going on in your life? And I, especially in track and field, again, that's my bubble. So I don't see how hard it would be. Again, I haven't been there, but just knowing what I've been through on the athlete side of things, like how hard is it for a coach to reach out to a kid and say, hey, I want to FaceTime you for 30 minutes, or I want you to come into my office for 30 minutes after practice or whatever. And you do that for all your kids over the course of 2 weeks. I don't think that's that hard because again, you're building that relationship, you're putting the time in, and then at the same time, the athlete's buying in, and I don't know.
Well, it's the coaches making sure that life's bigger than just a sport, and then making sure like if there's other shit that's going on in your life, you still got to be there for like these kids. You know what I'm talking about, or anybody in general. Like we know that like sports a piece of your life, but that's not your whole life, and you got to be good at taking stands of holding people accountable, like what else is going on with your life, what's family life like, what's relationships, what everything like that. And I think a lot of coaches don't do that, and that's what separates great to like okay coaches. You know what I'm talking about, is hitting that whole spectrum of being good at training, being good at personal relationships, taking care of athletes, also getting them to a high level. Like there's a whole different like faucets of different hallways to take, different doors to take, but you got to be able to try to perform in each area.
So I think to your point on that, I think all of us at Elite Speed and even Christian, even though he's no longer with us, rip. It's fine. I think we're all great coaches because we all care, and there's so many times where I'll call parents and I'm not even talking about how their kid is doing in the sport. We just talk about how their kid is, and I'm building that relationship with them. And I think one of the things that happens to coaches in the collegiate world, whether it's strength conditioning or sports specific coaching, is they take it for granted sometimes because they don't have to build those relationships that we do in the private sector to keep people in the doors. Like we have to get people to pay, one. So yes, we want you to pay. We want you to come in. We want to see your kid, but we want to see your kid because we care.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that happens with those coaches is, again, they take for granted their position and, you know, especially in track and field, this is the difference I think between track and field and football is no one really gives a crap about the track coach. Like if the track coach sucks, the track program sucks, well, they're not making any money anyway. Let's be honest. Unless you're at Oregon or, you know, whatever, you're not making money for the university. So it's like, there's no win-loss record. You know, it's just like, are kids getting better? Are they getting hurt? Whatever. But football's under a different level of scrutiny. So that's where it needs even more attention. But track, it's tough. You know, Casey says this all the time. Like, no one really cares about if the track coach is bad, because what is a barometer for a bad track coach? You know, like there's no win-loss record.
That's what's tough.
Go ahead. Yeah. So
that's what's tough about our world. But us talking about this, one of the quotes is funny. So one of the quotes that I pulled from it was Tebow saying, like, taking a stand. And he talked about, like, when someone's having an issue, or like an athlete having an issue, or a person in your job or whatever, he says, help the person, right the wrong, and then be a part of the solution. And I think us thinking about how do we be great leaders, or how do we be great people in this life, is understanding that everyone's going to have problems, that everyone's going to grow up in a different background. How do each person, we say everything happens for a reason, right? If I'm in Christian's life for a reason, how do I be a part of a solution to help Christian farther himself as a person? And I think that's where friendships and family and everything like that, but I think we miss this point in this whole life, whether you're a coach, whether you're a boss at a job, whether you own your own company, you need to be a part of these people's lives to take them to a next level and right some of their wrongs. And that's how we help people. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people have, you know, if they have an issue here, we try to help them take that issue, wash that away, and make them see life in a different way. I guess we each have other problems and we each have solutions. You know what I'm saying? So we can each help each other with that. So thinking about coaches and how good they are, thinking about like bosses and stuff like that, it just makes me think how important it is in this life nowadays, how to be a solution to a problem for people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And to that point again, that coming to problems with solutions, that's our job, right? That's what you're saying. So we always, but again, I think one of the things that I try to do with my athletes is create autonomy. Because of my experience in college, I really needed someone to say, hey, a lot of this is on you. You have responsibility here. If something isn't going your way, there's a conversation you need to have with your coach or with whoever in whatever facet of life to get what you want. And it's not so much of a selfish thing as it is, you know, you are looking out for your best interest, because really you are your best advocate. You are your own best advocate. So athletes will always come to us with problems. Hey, I got this going on. This hurts, blah, blah, blah. And we're expected to have the solution, right? So that's a good thing. We need to be able to have the solution, but also we need to teach them how to problem solve themselves. And that's one of the things that my coach, my mentor in high school, he taught me more than anything, was like, and it started with small, simple things, you know, of, hey, what is this called? Like, what is this position called? You know, when we're sprinting, like, what is the arm behind your back called? Like little things. And he would literally just stare at us until we came up with the answer. So it was like getting you to problem solve and critical think, even on basic small things, because yes, we can always give people answers. We can give the solution, but creating autonomous, powerful, encouraged people is how we make the world as coaches, I think, a better place, because ultimately we're not going to be their coach forever. You know, they're going to leave. You know, how many of, you know, our athletes are going off to college. Maybe they come back after college, they go professional, or they come back during spring semester or spring break or winter break or whatever. But at the end of the day, everybody's got to leave. Everybody's got to go on. And if we can help them be problem solvers, from
learn a skill.
Exactly.
They have to learn the skill, actually. And that, I think, like you're saying, too many people, okay, like what you're bringing up is we try to bring the solution, but like you said, is I think too many people look for the solution in other people and they
Right.
don't find out that they have the solution in themselves.
Right.
So they have to find that skill. And that was actually the quote. Actually, Tebow had Pablo Picasso said this in Tebow's book, though, and it says action is the fundamental key to success. And how I take that, and how Marcus is saying, is you have to learn the skill how to perform actions to make your life better. Not everyone's going to have it, but the issue is what we've talked about before is people stop learning from other people to bring it into their own skill and then use it themselves to problem solve their own self. I think people like rely on way too much like, oh, well, this person has the answer, so I'll just go to this person. No, learn the skill from that person. Now take it into your own, then build yourself. You know what I'm saying? And become the problem solver.
Yeah, it's really hard because, you know, whenever I was, like I said, my mentor in high school was a sprint coach. So I didn't really have like a jump, and high jump was my thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have like a jumps mentor that I could gravitate to the same level as sprints. And it was really hard because I was like, okay, I have this problem where my sprint coach is awesome. I love him to death. He loves me to death. But I'm like a high jumper primarily. So how do I then, what is it like? The problem I have to solve here is my passion is high jump. What I'm good at, really, really good at is high jump. I'm also good at sprinting, but how do I find the person who has the answers I'm looking for high jump? You know, and it literally started with me on my own, just Googling like high jump camps, high jump coaches near me, you know, and the nearest, I know, right?
That's the source of the internet, though.
FindtheJumpsCoach.com, like I wish, but I literally...
You should create that.
I guess I could. I don't know. But I literally my mom drove me to Houston, Texas from Alamogordo, New Mexico to work with Hugo Munoz, who's a Peruvian national record holder in high jump, and he was a 2-time Olympian. And I drove there and did a week camp for a summer, like over the summer, 14-hour drive. And we stayed in a hotel, and it was, you know, my mom was like, okay, I guess we're doing this. Like, you really care about it. And shout out to my mom, that's the kind of warrior and advocate for me she was and is still. But it took me doing that. I had to take the initiative. You know, I wanted to be really good at something, and I wasn't, in my immediate area, it was not available to me. It's small town USA, that it's not available. So I had to take the steps and the actions to do that. Like how many, and this is so funny, you know, Shane and I were talking about this before you got here, Christian, of like, the community that Elite Speed has in this private performance company, this didn't exist when I was in high school. And I always wonder how I would have been, like my life would have been different if I had something as readily available as Elite Speed with the knowledgeable coaches and the, I sound like I'm doing an ad right now.
You are.
I'm not, I am a little bit.
You had a trainer. Didn't you have a trainer in high school at Elite Speed?
Yes.
It was Nick and Jim.
Yeah. So what Marcus and I have to tell us how that changed your high school career and how that changed your college life, because I did like a little privatized like thing, but it wasn't as like Elite Speed or like it wasn't as like a privatized program. So when you look back at it, like you're saying, is how could this change a lot of people's lives? Now, if we think if all humans could have a specific mentor in their life to help them grow, how much different high school could be for students, or how much different college could be.
Yeah.
So tell us your experience.
Really, so around 8th grade, I met Jim. Jim owns Elite Speed. It actually was called House of Speed then. So he was just a trainer. He didn't even know anything back then.
I think I went to it once.
You might have. I don't know.
House of Speed.
So House of Speed really was where it all started for me. House of Speed was the place that I met Nick, and Nick ended up, I would say about 9th grade, freshman year. Nick ended up being my trainer, like coach from then until I stopped playing through college. And I don't think, without Nick, I don't think I would have gotten to go to play football at Division I level at University of North Colorado, and then, you know, my very, very brief stint at Wyoming. You know, even through that period of time, I was still coming back home and training on the weekends or when I could, especially during my redshirt year. And really what House of Speed was that home base, like home atmosphere. And Elite Speed in its first 2 years was still that very much so. And, you know, what it creates and like that home atmosphere that you're kind of talking about is where those athletes really want to go and develop And it's not even just about the development thing. It's about finding people that, and this is like the power of association. It's finding people that have the same mindset or the same drive to get to the same level that you do. And so for me, being around the Tanner Gentrys of the world, who in Tanner plays XFL, NFL.
Guardians.
Yeah, and the Eric Garcias who we had on last week. I mean, I grew up with all these guys, and so having that same place to go and train at around these guys, it raises your level of competition within yourself, but also around you, because you're trying to get to that same level that they are. And so for me, having that place to go, I get out of school at 10:30 because I had third and fourth period off. Instead of going home and sitting at home playing Xbox 360 for 6 fucking hours, and then going there, you're sitting there, you're playing Xbox with the boys that are gonna be, because we used to have a PlayStation or Nintendo 64 or whatever in the office there, back in the day, back in the good old days. But it helps you develop because you're sitting around with people that are the same minds as you. You're getting pushed by the guys next to you, and for me, it really developed the second place to go, because especially senior year, when football got out, all through high school you had commitment club or after school weights with your team, and then after that it's just kind of over. And so having that same kind of carrying over into that same thing, we were able to go do that and still develop and still be athletes and have mentors like Nick who were able to push us to the next level. And Nick, even to this day, after I've left Elite Speed and everything along those lines, still I talk to Nick, and there's still that mentor factor in sense like that. So you're able to go in the private sector, you're able to connect with a coach, and really, like, it's not even like connecting with a coach, they become your friend after like a week.
Oh yeah.
Right? And you're more friends with your athletes than you're actually a coach to your athletes, I guess.
Oh, trust me, I can't get rid of some of my kids.
Literally, earlier this week I had dudes hang out for 3 hours. I'm like, guys, go home.
Yeah.
Go to your house.
And a lot of them are in quarantine right now, so I don't have anything to do. And I'm like, well, don't watch TikTok all day, but you gotta go
Literally,
home.
It's like, guys.
You know who you are.
Literally left your house to come hang out here for 3 hours. We worked out for an hour and a half. Go home and be with your parents. You're in college. You haven't seen them for 6 months. But really, it comes down to the fact that you have a place to go that becomes your second home, that you can walk in and say what's up to people. And even still, I know I could walk into Elite and say what's up and go get a lift in and not even have, like, because I was an athlete there for freaking 13 years.
There's no animosity, no. It's all good. Yeah.
So,
well, it's just another outlet. And I think we've talked kind of about outlets is you have your friends at school, you have your family, and then you're like, what else do you have? And I think you saying that, it just gives you another community. It gives you another thing to be a part of, another safe zone. Like, and you don't know, sometimes you don't know the whole backstory about like an athlete, and they might need that. And Marcus, like, talking about his dad and like that track coach being there, like, those people give you something else to put your mind on something else that you love to do, and it helps you build.
It's just another place to go to hang out, to get away from your home life. I never had.
How many people have said they've been saved by sports, or how many people have said like they've been saved by music or whatever it is? It's because it gives you another love, it gives you another passion, and lets everything else wash away. Yeah. And you be able to sit here and say, I love this, and this is for me,
And I mean, I think beyond being an athlete and whatnot, I think what House of Speed and like those guys there gave me was, it was more, and this is what I'm sure we see with athletes now, is everybody kind of wants to still gravitate towards the weight room or whatever it may be, and that's because it's like you grew up and that's your home. And really it comes down to the fact that, none of us probably really had bad home lives growing up. Like, I definitely didn't. And I still wanted to go hang out at Elite. All my friends were there. Nobody was really like at home playing Xbox. And it was, hey, let's go work out for an hour and a half with Nick. Let's hang out there for an hour. Okay, let's go home. Okay, we'll jump on Xbox, right? It gives you a whole group of friends that you may not have at school. Even obviously a lot of them I went to school with, but it gives you a whole separate place. It separates you from the homework you're going to have to be doing at home. It separates from chores you have to do at your house. And that's not even bad stuff, but it separates you from that. It's like it gives you an excuse to, Mom, I'm going to the gym. I'll see you in a few hours.
I'm sure some of my kids' parents hate me because of how much time they spend with me. But honestly, it's better than doing It's better than looking at TikTok for 4 hours. I'll tell you that.
TikTok is like so.
TikTok is cancer. I don't understand. Like,
so toxic. It's
like-
so dumb. I downloaded it for an hour. I sat there and I was like, this is stupid. This is stupid.
I did one, and I was like, wait, this guy's literally just eating pasta? What am I watching right now? So it's like different than Vine. Remember when Vine was big? Vine was big when I was in college.
I mean, Vine. Why did Vine close? Like,
I
what?
don't know.
Why?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But Vine was cool. Anyway.
Vine was better than TikTok.
Vine was cool because you had to
Don't
be
have
creative. You had to be like doing stuff for 6 seconds.
Well, and then you had those girls that would just go in there and shake their asses for 10 seconds or 6 seconds or whatever.
Well, Christian, I was wholesome, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you saw it when you were scrolling through. You don't get that on TikTok, I don't think. I don't have a TikTok, so I don't know.
I do not condone this.
I did not condone this.
No.
I do. Locker room. Locker room.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say actually off of that was, why do you think? So this is a serious question. Why do you think we change as we get older? We change away from those habits and we let other life things create us into doing other stuff that honestly we don't always love. So this is something. This is why Christian and I made this podcast. Hold on, listen. This is why Christian and I made this podcast. This was a big piece. Is to bring people back together and to just enjoy a sense of community, of having fun. And I think what happens, and I tell this all the time to my friends, and Gary Vee, I always talk about Gary Vee, but he shouts this out. He's like, why the hell aren't people 28 years old living in a studio apartment with 5 other people and enjoying their life?
Yeah, if we're gonna go.
But what I'm saying is like, why we try to get into the society of like, you got to do this and then you got to go to here, and it's like, why can't you? I've told Christian, why can't all the friends? I know jobs have a lot. I think the work life is the worst of like moving people away and stuff like that. But why can't you just have all the friends living on the same street?
Honestly,
of your friends, of like 10 people. What's wrong? How sick would that be if you had 10 of your friends living on the same street?
We talk about it all the time.
And you can have kids growing up together and stuff like that.
That, like, we all miss at some point, we all leave what we grew up loving. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And I, for one, can tell you exactly a time and the reason why. When I stopped playing college sports, I refused to step foot in a weight room for about a year because it took me back, and it was a hard time working at elite.
You were triggered.
It was a trigger going back to like, why the fuck am I still not playing? You know, and that was the biggest frustration. And you know, football for me was stopped because of my concussions, and so I never had the closure that some athletes get when it's like, okay, it's time to hang it up. For me, it was like, you're done. I'm like, I'm not ready to be done. I still want to play. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I ran, and a lot of people will know this, I run from things that either frustrate me or...
What?
You know, I go from things that frustrate me because it is a lot of like, I guess PTSD is not the right word. There's a little stress there.
I get it.
Right? You know,
yeah, I think you ever know.
Going back to elite, being in the weight room, I was just like, why am I not playing football still? And so,
I've done that.
But now it's like, okay, so why not go back to what your home is? So I'm in the weight room every day, even during quarantine or coronavirus. I built a weight room in my garage. I'm still there every day.
Yeah, no, and which is huge. And you realize that's a huge impact on your life. Yeah. What I see is, let's say with our parents, okay, and you look at our parents, and I see like, some parents, you know, might not have a lot of friends anymore, and they had a lot of friends when they were growing up, and you realize like those people leave, and then they get older, and then their kids leave, and then they're like, what else do we do? And what I'm saying is, I think communities, it's a lot better if you look at your friends and you say, hey, like if you can stay around each other as long as you can, build that, like keep around that, because what really truly matters at the end of the day. Are you gonna be happy when you're 6 years old working your work and never seeing your friends like every like 5 years? Like you're gonna miss that stuff, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, if you change mindset on society and you say it's okay to work and live around each other, it's okay to like try to keep that sense of community, it's okay to go have fun and go play football when you want to, you know what I'm saying? It's just like stupid things that I think when you grow as an adult after college, you're like, oh, I gotta be an adult now. I mean, and you hear everyone in their 20s like, oh, I hate being an adult, adulting sucks, and it's like
I say it every week.
Well, people take it the wrong way, you know what I'm saying? It's like, why do you change for that? I think it's like a mental thing. Honestly, I think it's a mental block.
I
People are
mean-
like, I understand we have to work, we have to make money. There's a lot of other things that go on. And if you have kids, there's a lot of things. But don't lose your sense of innocence or sense of love that you had when you're younger.
I mean,
guess.
Gary Vee always talks about why the fuck you working jobs you hate in
Exactly.
your 20s. Like, go enjoy your life and do what you want to
got
do and chase your dreams. Because right now, 20, and Marcus is older than Shane and I, but from 20, and in my opinion, from 21, 22 when you get out of college to 29,
Yeah.
you should be going and doing whatever the fuck you want to do. Whether you're traveling, whether you're working out every day and being a bodybuilder and thinking you're an Instagram influencer, or just building cool shit. Like, why wouldn't you be doing that? And you know,
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
if I can. So one of the, I think this is Gary. I don't know. They all kind
Maybe.
of they all kind of blend together. But I think one of the things that he talks about is if you're good at something, someone's gonna pay you for it.
That's Gary Vee.
If you're good at it, if you're passionate, you're gonna be good at it, right? And I think there's a Japanese proverb of like things that you're if you're good at something, if the world values it, right, and you're passionate about it, that's the trifecta. That's gonna make you the most happy. That's gonna, because you're gonna get paid well.
Yep.
You're gonna have influence in a community, and you're gonna be happy. You're gonna be feel fulfilled. So I think that's important. Just speaking from, I guess, what my experience was. Like I said, my mom had me at 17, 18 years old, so she didn't necessarily have the luxury of being able to do, what she wanted. I ruined her life. No, I didn't. She loves me. It's fine. But
Marcus.
yeah, no. But I definitely altered the trajectory of her life for better or worse. It is what it is. The best thing that I could do, repay her back, because I could never repay her back for the years that she grinded and worked really hard and suffered, I guess, for me, is to be the best person that I can be and to be the best influence on the world that maybe she didn't get to, or whatever her dreams or aspirations was. So speaking from that side of things, I do think a lot of people, at the end of the day, they just got to get a job. They got to pay their bills, and then they have to, within their small community of influence, which for my mom was literally just me and my brother, like raise us to be the best that we could so that we could go out and make that influence. So I understand what you guys are saying, and I think that's, at the heart of it is people need to find their passion and they need to hold on to it. Because again, if you're passionate about something, then you're going to be good at it. If you're good at it, someone's going to value it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the world has to value it too. It's a weird thing where it's like, I'm really passionate about I don't know, making bottle caps into statues. It's like, all right, I mean, you're gonna have one weirdo out there who's gonna be like, that's what I want. You know what I mean? And they're gonna pay you $1,000.
There used to be a store on Parker Road that used to do shit like that.
Sure. Well, yeah, that's my point. So like, there's a niche for you.
Yeah.
But is that going to sustain you? And is that
security and money
Right, so-
also has a lot to do with it.
So I think what I always goes back to that Japanese proverb. I think it's Japanese. I'm sorry, cultural appropriation. I don't know. of trying to find what the world values, what you're good at, what you love, and then mixing those things. And I think me personally, I was just so fortunate to have found that coach who helped me realize, like, yeah, you're not only like, this is what's real and this is what this is attainable, but you can be really good at it.
Yeah.
Because I know, that's something even my wife had struggled with up until recent, was like, she has done the history undergraduate degree. She's getting her master's in history, but it was just because that's kind of what she did. She just kind of fell into it, as opposed to, she's super passionate. She really likes being good at something, and she's really, really good at history. She's good at analyzing. She's good at, all those sorts of skills that come with being a history major, master, whatever, master of the universe. But she didn't really know how that was going to translate to what she was passionate.
Yeah.
But she's taken now, and I just, she's the reason why I do everything I do, honestly. So I have to talk about her, and she'll appreciate this. But now she has a job where she can take the skills that she got from being a history master to mentor young people, and get them to understand, like, especially she works with a lot of athletes at CU's campus. She's a learning specialist there. and get them to
Go
understand. Go Buffs. I guess I'm not really a Buff at all, but it's fine.
Hey, you were in the Mountain West. That's Pac-12, big different conference. It's okay.
Yeah, totally different. So anyway, she's taken kind of the skills that she's gotten from her years of mastering something, right, and applied them to, hey, football player that maybe is, learning disabled or whatever the politically correct term is. You can be good at this too. You can be good at this.
You can just say what the football players are.
I'm sorry.
They don't want to do their work.
They don't, and that's fine. That is a separate podcast.
That's not even like targeting anybody.
No, it's fine.
I'm not going to put Shane and I into that group.
Look,
There's a certain group of athletes on campuses that don't like to do shit. And I'm sorry I'm calling you out, but get your shit done.
Yeah.
You do got to get your shit done.
There's stereotypes in every sport, though. It's just, there's truth to stereotypes. Does everyone fall into it? No, but yes.
I'm of the mind that football, this is a completely different podcast, by the way. We're going off the rails, but it's fine. I'm of the mind.
Football players podcast. Where it was Shane.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm of the mind that
Just joking.
it's almost torturous for these football players and basketball players to be in school whenever they really are
We're there to play sports.
You're there to play football, and there's no illusions about it.
Yeah.
How much money floats? Okay, anyway, my point being, it's hard for them to understand how to be passionate towards school the same way that they are about sports, and that's where you got to transcend. You got to make the concepts of passion and creativity and value and finding something that the world values. You got to make that universal, because sure, the world might value you as a football player, but not if you don't make it. If you don't make it to the NFL,
When it's over, you're nobody.
and it's over. And what to your point about closure, every athlete has to deal with closure. I mean, even Tom Brady, who's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, he signed a 2-year deal. He's playing for Tampa Bay. And that might be it. He's going to have to deal with closure too, right? And
Do you think he retires with the Patriots?
He goes back to the Patriots?
Do you think even if he signs a one-day contract, do you think he signs a one-day contract with the Patriots? Because Peyton Manning didn't. He didn't sign a one-day contract with...
And what about Brett Favre? He didn't.
No, I don't know if he did. I think there's a little animosity towards those teams that are like, hey,
interesting.
F you, and Bill Belichick and him are always like, F you to each other. It's like Peyton Manning's like, okay, screw you guys. You drafted Andrew Luck, who retired. Literally, you got Jim Irsay. You're an idiot. Don't let Peyton go to the Broncos.
Have you seen one of my favorite Twitter pages is Andrew Luck, but from the Civil War.
I've seen
that.
It's
a Civil War Andrew Luck page, and it's like, dearest mummy, I have retired. And it's so good. Anyway, I don't know how to.
My favorite page on Instagram right now is super late NFL news. So their breaking news is from 8 years ago. The other day his quote was
Ray Rice hit his wife.
Oh shit! No, my phone was gonna pull or something. No, the other day the tweet was do you think Sam Bradford or Tim Tebow will have a better career?
Oh god, that's a yikes.
I just say that because it's Tim Tebow month.
It is Tim Tebow month.
No, but you were talking about.
Sorry, we went
a little bit how. Yeah, no, you were talking about our parents. So this kind of gives us a perspective here. You realize that each generation is completely different. Yeah. And you realize our parents, and so you were talking about your mom had you guys at 17, right?
Yeah, she was.
And my dad was super young too.
Yeah.
Good old Kimbo.
Had kids. She was cougar. So, what I'm saying is they were. Chose a different lifestyle, and I think the generation, it was different, and they realized when they had kids, they had to provide for their kids super quick, right? So when I see my parents, I realize they knew they had kids, so they had to get a job right away.
You ain't got no choice.
Even if it wasn't their passion,
sure.
They had to find a job to make money. So they knew that was to provide for the kids, so they had to make sacrifices, right? I think now, as you grow older and you get to see your parents now, and you realize that some older folks aren't in a good position where they look at their life and they're like, I didn't get to do what I love to do. Mm-hmm. And I tell my parents all the time, you guys, your kids are all pretty much gone. They're all grown up. Everyone's gone. What are you going to do now that you could change your life? You're not old enough where you can't change your life. You can go do something you want to go passionate for now. Go change your life. And I think that's what's tough is our generation now, we have so much opportunity. We could go do whatever we really want. You could do whatever. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So you could go do whatever you want. We live in a different generation. I think we have to take that in consideration of our parents are trying to teach us a certain way how to live. We have to take only a certain amount of that, right? And then take our own perspective and say, it's not like what you guys did 40, 50 years ago. It's a whole different life. So take
40, 50 years ago, it would have been like 1 or 2, Shane.
all I'm saying, no.
It's fine, I got
Kim
you.
was 60, she would have been like 10. So, but you get what I'm saying. So the biggest thing is people are struggling with like, some parents are trying to give their old ways to their kids of like, oh, well, you got to do this. And when you have kids, you're going to have to do this. I get it. Like there's still a certain sacrifice you have to take.
Mm-hmm.
But I also live in a different generation that I can still mostly go do what I love to do and be all right financially and take care of my kids. I think people need to have that mindset of like, don't go sacrifice everything and be unhappy. And then when you're 60 years old, realize like, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. That's why I think that's also Gary Vee, and a lot of people just getting the point over. It's like in your 20s, make sure you live in a time where you could go do anything you want.
Well, here's a
Go
fun
do
example
it.
for you.
You know what I'm saying?
We're in the middle of coronavirus, right? A lot of people have lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I hope you guys find something else to do. Right now, you have a month where you're not going to be able to work. In that month, what are you going to do? Are you going to go find something or develop something that you can do at home? Are you going to go chase your dream? Or are you going to go back to sitting there, and I'm not against serving tables or anything like that, but are you going to go back to doing that and not really enjoying your life and working, your hours? Are you going to spend the next month in this weird, shitty time we're dealing with, right? Developing something that you can really like believe in and can go do.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, we're in this weird pause, like, right? You guys are in the same situation I am. Sports performance world, we're kind of shut down. Are we going to go develop something? Are we going to continue to reach out to athletes? Or are we going to continue to coach athletes? Are we going to get it done? Those people that, aren't working in their restaurants right now, go find something. If you're the people that, I don't know what other shit's gotten shut down. Bars and restaurants, that's all I can think of.
Everything,
but
pretty much
everything. You have free time now. You're going to be at home all day.
Yeah.
You're only going to do your job if you're working from home for 5 hours. What are you going to do with the other 19 hours of the day?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to sleep for 8, so...
If you're in a situation that you're not loving what you're doing, exactly. Like you said,
you literally have the perfect time to develop something and make a choice about. You're going to go chase your fucking dream.
That's what we're talking about.
Go fucking do it.
That's what we're talking about.
Marcus is going to go to the Olympics this summer now. He has a month to train.
Big chill on that, and also they should postpone that shit for real. That's not.
Yeah,
that's
it's
so
ridiculous.
Bad. Tokyo 2021.
Yeah.
Or Winter Olympics Tokyo 2020.
Yikes, dude!
I'm just joking.
High jumping in Tokyo in the winter, bro.
They can do indoor track.
That's true. They got everything. They'll heat that track up and be fine. But no, psych.
But I mean,
I will say my one sorry, this is a super pause moment. My one track star crush right now. Sorry, Aaron. Is some Canadian pole vaulter, Alicia Newman or something like that.
Oh.
Smoke show.
So I actually know her.
Do you really?
Well, if you're talking about the same chick, so she actually is from New Mexico. Yeah, go ahead and pull her up.
I think she's Canadian.
This is gonna be awkward. Well, she competes for Canada.
That's probably
gonna be really awkward. Oh my god. Yeah, pull her up. I actually want to know.
Celebrity crush here.
Celebrity crush.
Oh my god. If this is the same person.
This one?
Oh no, different chick. Oh, there's a different chick that. Oh god, I can't remember her name. She's from New Mexico. She went to. Oh, this is dead air.
Who takes that? You're a pole vaulter and you're taking those type of pictures.
Well, the times are hard out here for track athletes. You got to make that money. You got to get that sponsorship. You know what I mean?
I mean,
it's fine.
There's nothing wrong with being a verified Olympian athletic star. That's
that
cool.
in the track world, you guys might know this. That's
350,000 followers.
That's pretty common in terms of girls, who are pursuing. I guess more so girls. This is gonna sound really sexist, I think, but a lot of girls can go out even if they're not quite as good, elite, world class level. If they're pretty and they have a social,
you get verified.
Yeah, you put a social media presence out there, and you can get some sponsorship deals. I mean, I'm not talking down at all. I think get your money, girl. Do what you got to do. Yeah. But it's pretty common in the track world, actually. Again, derailing, but it's fine. Anyway, yeah. No, there's another girl I'm thinking of. I cannot remember. Oh, I don't want to say it on air, probably. But she went to Mexico. I got the name now. Her first name's Annika. That's it.
Oh. Well, that's not her.
Yeah, I think she competes for Canada. Anyway,
It's fine.
moving
My girlfriend's a
on.
powerlifter. She's hot as fuck. So
Didn't she pole vault too?
No.
Oh, I'm getting the wires crossed.
Okay.
Oh, we're moving on. Take that. Oh, yeah.
Don't be talking about other girls.
We're going back like 2.5 years.
She
ago,
who
Marcus.
must
You're
not
cool.
be named. Okay, sorry about
It's
that.
all good. That's a throwback of,
That's a throwback.
I guess, a year and 2 years ago now.
Damn. Sorry, Aaron. I don't know you.
But
Sorry.
What the heck are we talking about?
well, at the end of the day, like
Aaron squatted 285 on Monday. I'm just gonna
I
say
know,
that
I was
before the
gonna-
quarantine
Shit.
happened.
I saw that.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's a PR of like 40 pounds, I think.
Yeah, I saw.
She'll correct me and tell me it was like 60, but
Wow.
No, that was impressive.
I can't remember. It was
But
40 pounds? Now I'm annoyed.
That doesn't matter.
It does matter. It's important.
But 285, we got it. That's
5'5", squatting 285.
She's 5'5".
She's tiny.
No, what do you
Sorry.
But what were you?
That was a weird. I was just saying. Sorry. Anyway. Wow. Look at that Instagram post. Shout out to Iron.
Aaron Leahy
Aaron,
at
yeah,
Aaron's
Aaron.
Performance
Hey,
Athlete.
actually, I just cracked open those other beers.
Oh, okay. So
Fucking good.
Is it?
Dude, it's super good.
I told you Blood Orange IPA is mine. Okay, so I guess we're in a pause break here. This second half of
Actually,
our
that
podcast
sounds
is brought to you by Blood Orange IPA. Brewed by Tommy Knocker Mountain Town Craft Beer. It is from Idaho Springs, Colorado, just up the road from Bojo's Pizza.
Nice.
Great mixture here. I don't know if it's actually good with pizza. I'm just saying it is. But I'm cracking it open as you hear me.
Dude, it's good.
Dude, Blood Orange is awesome.
Super
So I'm gonna take a sip here.
citrus. Love it.
It's kind of warm, but the
citrus.
thing about this beer, and this is what I was trying to tell you a couple weeks ago when I said, hey, I want to do this beer. The Blood Orange IPA, whether you have it from, I forget, Derek Vandervelde, shout out to you, you're going to correct me on this, I can't remember the name of the brewery up in Broomfield, but the Blood Orange IPA, you don't have a lot of hoppy flavor.
Yeah, it's not hoppy.
It's not
It's
bitter. And there's a brewery up there, I can't think of the damn name of it, but it's super bomb. Super good. Anyhow, this one, Tommy Knocker Blood Orange IPA.
India.
It's Indian Pale Ale dingus. Anyhow,
India.
Indian Pale Ale. India Pale. An IPA is
I know why you say
India.
Indian.
India, same shit. India, there's Indians from over there. We have Native Americans
Whoa,
here. I'm
what
not
the-
cross-referencing that.
I just came back from the bathroom. I don't know what we're talking
We're
about.
talking about this beer. You want to try it? Oh, it's
Yeah,
coronavirus season. I can't shit with
You get the one behind you.
Yeah.
I'll try it.
Mark is going to crack one
It
open.
is good though.
Marcus has 3 drinks as well. That's what we all do today, you know? Sorry, this is a really random
Cracking it.
like
No, but
halftime.
I like it though. I like
So
it.
yeah, so I'm gonna read the backside of this. So Tommy Knocker's background
that's
here.
good.
Tommy Knocker slipped into the mining camps of Idaho Springs in the 1800s with the discovery of gold in our mountains and streams. These mischievous elves, though hardly ever seen, were often heard singing and working. They guided many fortunate miners from harm's way to the gold they sought. I don't know how true that is. That's kind of weird.
Dude, that's cool.
But anyhow,
Like-
Tommy Knocker is fucking good. There's a brewery up there.
No,
I've never eaten there. I've just stopped there and gotten a root beer because the root beer is bomb. But going on taphunter.com, citrus orange aromas dominate this beer. Dark copper in color. Citrus flavors work in balance with a slightly sweet malt character. Traditional hop bitterness is low. Citra Mosaic and Mandarina Bavaria, all known for their citrus forward profile, are primary hops used for kettle and dry hop additions. Post fermentation, the beer is infused with fresh orange peel. Basically, you're drinking orange juice in beer form.
That's what it tastes like.
It really does.
It's good.
Blood Orange IPA
Dangerous.
from Tommy Knocker in Idaho Springs, Colorado. You can
The
stop.
juice is loose.
You can stop there
Tommy Knocker.
on. You can stop. That's funny. You can stop there on I-70, grab a pizza at Bojo's, then hit Tommy Knocker's, then make your way up to Winter Park.
Nice. Have you guys seen, speaking of OJ, have you guys seen OJ's Twitter?
OJ Simpson,
Yeah, OJ Simpson. Who else is OJ?
did he do it?
Of course he did it. His Twitter is
I'm
amazing.
gonna look it up right now.
Hello, Twitter world. It's
Should we
me,
like-
OJ.
Should we be like?
I kill people. It's so good.
That's
He's
so
like,
bad.
he's crazy. He's like golfing and
Hold on, let's see what he says here.
staging.
All right, we're gonna play this over.
Oh, this is bad.
They served on the close of golf course at one point. but they let everybody finish their round of golf, and now they're saying they're going to be closed. And
Killed the guy.
other courses are talking about closing.
A dude.
But, you know, I thought the course did the right thing today. They closed the clubhouse.
Oh, did they,
So
OJ?
you couldn't go in for breakfast or anything.
Oh.
But on the golf course, guys aren't that close to each other. What they did today, they gave everybody single golf carts. And
Guys
That's
aren't that
enough
close.
of
Literally,
OJ.
thank God they're not close to each other. Oh my
Yeah.
God. They're not close to each other because you're there and they're scared of
Why
you.
give OJ a club?
That's a good question. They definitely.
Did he use a driver or a 5-iron?
I don't know. Kids of today might not know who OJ is.
Okay, if you really don't know who OJ is,
Yeah.
there's a documentary. That's not a documentary. It's with
Cuba Gooding Jr. OJ. It's the trial of OJ on Netflix. You talking about that?
yeah, it's with
FX.
what's his name from Greece is in it in the OJ Simpson trial.
Grease.
The dude
John
from
Travolta?
Yeah, thank you. John Travolta's in this one I watched.
Did you just space on John Travolta?
I couldn't think of his name. I can see his face.
John Travolta.
Dude, I've watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off the last 3 days in a row and watched
Wait, why?
I don't know. It's just on it's on Netflix. I watched Top Gun the other night.
Yo,
I don't know why
now.
it's gonna be coming out. Top Gun's like probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
The
It
second-
is my
The
favorite.
second one.
I bet you the volleyball scene's your favorite part.
No.
Why not?
I like jets, dude. I'm a big fan of like.
Oh, you like
flying
jets?
Jets.
And guys playing volleyball on the beach?
And dudes playing volleyball on the beach.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's 2020.
Okay. Jesus Christ. I'm done.
Oh.
Can I say Jesus Christ on the radio? On the
Jesus de
podcast?
Cristo.
I was watching Leatherheads the other night. He's like, there was a scene where they come and say hell. He's like, you can't say hell on the radio. And he goes, Jesus Christ. You can't say Jesus either.
Nice.
Well, this is our podcast. We do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go check out OJ's Twitter or don't. I mean, if you don't
We'll play
want
a little clip it for you.
to. Yeah.
We're going like full Joe Rogan there. Like, hey Jamie, pull that up for us.
Yeah, I guess. I was wondering how long we would make it in this podcast without mentioning Joe Rogan. I'm not gonna lie.
I think we mentioned Joe Rogan every week.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the real one.
He is. Speaking of which,
Did you see
Aaron
the last
sent me
podcast
this-
with all the... We should
So,
add some...
Ironically, Aaron sent me that
Gas
that
mask,
podcast
gas
this
mask.
morning. She's like, you need to listen to this. They're talking about conspiracies about the coronavirus and shit. I haven't listened to it yet.
Ooh.
I did see videos.
I like
of
conspiracy
it, and I was like,
theories.
okay, Joe Rogan's wearing a fucking astronaut suit. The other dude's wearing a gas mask the whole time.
As you should.
Yeah.
Why don't we have gas masks on?
It's a good question. We can cosplay next time. Is cosplay? Can I say that? Is
Cosplay?
that lame? Is that?
No,
That's
that's
not.
okay.
Marcus is very into. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marcus.
Oh yeah, I'm about to. Go ahead.
You're into the video games and comic world.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you're not wrong. I like that stuff.
You're right.
I like that
Right.
stuff. I don't know. I love stories, and those are some of the best stories.
Okay, so
Okay, hold on.
which one's better, Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Okay, can you explain why? Because I know there's certain people in this world that think DC's correct.
Hold on,
and
hold
better.
on. Name,
Okay.
name all the Marvel,
Shane's probably
some
one.
of the Marvel characters, and then name DC so I can like get that in my head.
Oh wow, Shane, you're an idiot.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
So
I'm just making sure because
This is
I
like-
like,
this is
I
like a-
like both sides though because I
Okay.
like Hulk,
yeah, that's
who's
Marvel.
Marvel, and then Batman's DC.
Okay, well that's the thing here.
That's the tough thing. Is
That's
I like to
so,
cross.
so I will tell you right now, everything besides Batman, and it has to be a specific Batman. Some people might say Michael Keaton's better.
Yeah,
Christian Bale's Batman.
No, Christian Bale's Batman. I'm
Okay.
Batman.
it's great.
So those three, especially the Dark
I'm
Knight.
Batman.
No, that's terrible.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. Okay, good. I like it.
No, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
You guys aren't doing the voice.
No, we're Michael Keaton. You can be fucking Christian Bale.
Yeah,
I'm Batman.
yeah, it's terrible.
No.
It's better than George Clooney's nipples on the bat
Dude,
suit.
George Clooney's Batman was trash.
Okay, hold
But
on.
Loki's kind of fire.
Okay, so
name
pause.
the characters.
On a moment here, do you
Hold on,
guys,
hold on,
why do
hold
you, freaking Edward from Twilight's gonna be the
I
Batman?
know, Robert Pattinson.
What?
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't
What
know.
is he gonna do? Be a viper? Why did I say viper? What?
Viper.
Vampire.
Vampire? Oops.
Oh, okay, I get it now.
Viper, vampire. Sorry, it might be he's got mixed up. I don't know.
3 years deep.
I am a G&T deep with. I'm saying more than one
Your
shot.
B's got mixed up.
My B's,
That's
my
what-
words,
that's what she
B's.
Nah.
That's a weird thing. She said. I don't know why I should say that.
All right, Shane. I'll try to answer your question. So, Marvel. I mean, those are the movies that like everyone knows the most and cares about. So, Marvel's like Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk,
Yeah.
Thor, all that, right? DC's Superman, Batman.
You can't forget.
I know
Star-Lord.
Superman, Batman. Who else is DC?
DC's like
I can't think.
Aquaman.
Hawkman, Aquaman,
Oh,
Hawk
okay.
Girl,
Supergirl.
Martian Manhunter, who's actually pretty cool. Supergirl, yeah, sure.
No, yeah.
So anyway.
Marvel's better.
Marvel's
But
better.
DC,
DC
but
sucks,
Batman.
but-
I like Batman though.
Heath
Flash
Ledger,
is DC.
Heath Ledger as Joker and Christian Bale as Batman. That
Fantastic.
pair right there
Dude, that movie was the best
is
movie.
absolutely outstanding. I mean, honestly,
Still
as
one
far
of the
as
best movies.
it's on Netflix. I don't think the Dark Knight Rises, is that the first one,
No,
or
that's
Batman
the
Begins. Batman Begins isn't great. You got Qui-Gon.
How dare you?
I can't think of his name. What's his name?
In the movie
He
or in
plays
real life?
Qui-Gon in Star Wars.
I don't
He
know.
plays.
Oh, it's Liam Neeson.
Thank you, Liam Neeson. I'm having a hard time with people's names.
Well, you
today.
got concussions. So.
You're right. I'm also. I had a G&T, a beer, and I'm drinking my third beer. I feel like we're in total like Joe Rogan. Like, let's smoke some weed.
Yeah, I'm done.
I don't know what I'm saying now.
Joker, some shit. I don't know. Who cares?
No, so that one, the first one with Liam Neeson was
Oh, yeah.
wasn't great. Like you
I
could tell
liked
there was a lot of potential. It was great, but it wasn't like if you look at the Joker, Dark
Sure.
Knight, that one right there was just outstanding. And it sucks that Heath Ledger died because I'm curious if there was going to be a continuation of Joker into the Dark Knight Rises
I don't know.
with Bane. I also hate that Christian Bale bailed out of the Batman universe after 3
Yeah.
because you have Penguin, Catwoman was kind of in there.
Yeah, she was. She was on the third
Have you
one.
watched Gotham?
No,
on
that looks
Netflix?
lame. That looks boring.
Really?
Is it good?
I watched it.
Oh, is it
I liked
good?
it a lot
Oh,
because
fair
it goes through like as he was young, and then kind of like the whole quest of becoming Batman, basically. Like in the 4th season, like he becomes Batman or
Basically,
whatever.
he falls into a
No, it's
cave,
cool, though,
bats
because-
scare him, he becomes a bat.
No, but they go through all the characters. So all the characters like have like Penguin, Ivy, like all those characters are in Bane. Everyone's in it, and it's like more realistic than just basically.
Yeah.
I got you. That's
On
cool.
the topic of movies,
It's cool.
though, I was watching the original Spider-Man the other day because it was on TV after I got
so
home from
good.
work. And we're talking like original, like Peter Parker. What was
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire.
Damn it, Christian.
I don't know his name. I just know him as Peter Parker
know,
in the original
I'm-
Spider-Man.
I know
He's-
a lot of useless stuff.
It was, I think, the second one, or first one was Green Goblin.
Well, they both had Green Goblin, but the first one, the second one was Doc
I'm
Ock.
talking
No, you're
Doc
right.
Ock. So I'm talking about Green Goblin.
That was the first one.
I was the animation of that. Like I think it was like 2002.
It was 2000.
It was so bad.
It's like
And I'm sitting there thinking
Dude,
back
the
when I was
curve
like,
from early 2000s to
Dude.
2010s and up is crazy.
I was
on
sitting there
animation.
watching, like, how did I think this was good?
I mean, you didn't know anything
Animation.
different, but yeah, it's
Green
2000.
Goblin throws one of those stupid little
The balls.
balls that blow things up, grenade or whatever you want to call
It's
it.
called a grenade, Christian.
Him flying in on his thing was so
That's
CGI,
plastic.
and it was so bad. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
And I don't think any of the Spider-Mans are very good.
How dare you?
The most recent ones where
Those are good.
the
Tom
younger
Holland
kid
ones.
and the super hot chick was playing Aunt May.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Zendaya. I was like,
No.
oh, not my type. She's
I will
like-
say my favorite Marvel movies are probably going to be
This is
Dude,
gonna
I'm
make me
having
mad,
a
isn't
hard
it? It's gonna make me very
probably
mad.
going to make you mad.
Go ahead. Blade?
No.
Blade's great.
Blade.
That's a Marvel
Is that
movie.
Blade?
Yeah, it's a Marvel
Wow.
movie.
Wait.
Blade.
Wait, we're
Does
going to
Ghost Rider count?
How dare you?
Is Green Goblin.
I love Ghost
Marvel.
Rider.
That movie sucks.
I was going to say
It was bad, but I like the character.
I was
Like, I
gonna
just
say
like who he is.
Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Deadpool's Marvel, but Fox owns a bunch of characters, so they make it kind of like difficult to work with Marvel and Disney.
But I mean, honestly,
Deadpool, yeah.
I was watching
Marvel.
a movie where what is his name? Dude, I am having
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, thank you. Thank you for
You don't
picking
know
up on
any
that.
characters.
I am having a hard time with names
No
today.
actors.
Ryan Reynolds, I'm like, you can't watch another movie now without thinking, oh, it's Deadpool.
Yeah.
Because he,
Same with Wolverine.
it's
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is in another movie. I don't remember what it was. It was just on TV. I'm sitting there thinking, like, he talks the exact same in every single movie,
yeah.
and he plays his Deadpool character the same way he is in
Yeah.
every movie.
Yeah.
So it's sitting there thinking, it was Hobbs and Shaw, the Fast and Furious movie.
I
He
wanna watch
pops
that,
up in that.
Was
and
it
it's
good?
like, yeah, it's pretty
Dude,
good.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. On
Really?
the topic of Fast and Furious now. We're just tangenting off like crazy.
Who cares? The thing with Fast and Furious,
Dude, the second one,
No,
Too
no,
Fast
no,
and
no,
Furious,
no, no.
first one. Yeah.
Fast and Furious and the Fast and the Furious, the first one,
And the second
one, Too Fast, Too Furious, with Eva Longoria,
The real
are
ones.
the best
The
Fast
real
and Furious.
ones.
After Tokyo Drift.
was like a cool side kind of like.
No, but they
Fast
wrapped
and
it
Furious.
back in.
They
and they
did
put it
wrap
at the end of
but it was
Fast
different
5.
characters.
I like
So
Fast Five. I thought that was good.
And I love how they tied
Dude.
in, like they twined in
No.
Tokyo Drift as it was going on basically in their world at the same time
Too Fast, Too Furious though, when the trucks were in the garage and the cops like surround them and they have to get out and they
Oh,
just
there's like
freaking-
6,000
Yeah, they
stupid
just-
RX-7s and Hondas.
they just
popping
run
out.
over all the cops and then all the cars come out.
I do wonder, in the original Fast and Furious, Honda Accords. Why are you out of? You have a Supra, you have RX, or you have a GTR Skyline, R34s.
Honda Accord, baby.
You choose the Honda Accord to be the car that you use as your
Fast and Furious.
as your fast car to raid semi trucks.
Sounds like they were paid by Honda. Is what it sounds like.
Well, no, because you got Toyota Supra, you got Nissan GTR Skyline.
Sounds like Honda paid the most. Is what it sounds like.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know
kind of
what to
how
tell
it
you.
works.
And if you look
Money
at the
runs
cinematography
everywhere.
of those movies is so bad.
Oh, dude, you were talking about Spider-Man being bad animation.
The original
Special effects.
Fast and Furious is so bad.
Too Fast, Too
And the-
Furious is terrible.
I mean, all the background music in that, it's so the flow.
It's so
of the
2000s.
flow of the movies is so 2000. Because I think the original Fast and Furious, because Paul Walker was such a car dude.
Yeah.
The original Fast and Furious and Too Fast, Too Furious, but the original Fast and Furious really brought into what the car world was in the late 90s into early 2000s, where it was you have your meets where you have a bunch of, I'm gonna racial profile so bad.
Oh boy.
You have a lot of the Asian population. Sorry, I'm
You-
not. And
you
have a
could've
lot of
just
those-
said that.
AKA
No,
John Wynn.
you literally have your white guys who think they can soup up their Honda Civics
Yeah.
and their I don't even know what
And run against American Muscle.
and yeah, and not even white. They're either it wasn't even American Muscle. You have those guys, and then you have the Japanese guys coming over with their RX-7s, their Toyota FDs,
Yeah.
their Supras. Is it a Toyota FD? I don't know. I'm probably gonna get shit on here. TJ Hunt has a lot of these cars. I'm a big fan of TJ Hunt. TJ Hunt's like Paul Walker. Now, if you don't know who TJ Hunt is,
I don't.
go check him out on YouTube.
Maybe.
I followed him since like day one. This dude has like a Nissan 350Z, 370Z maybe, 350Z. He's had a GTR. He's had Ferraris. He rebuilt a Ferrari. Anyhow, he's like kind of like the carryover of what Paul Walker was, and the TJ Hunt is now that on his YouTube channel. But like if you look at it, you got all these dudes bringing over all these cars back then, and then you have the Hondas and you have the American Muscle. It was just like turf war of what car is better. You know, their 70s, 80s muscle or 60s, 70s muscle cars to your 90s tuner Honda Civics.
So
and
what you're
Accords.
saying is they need to make a movie about this called Ford vs. Ferrari, the sequel, nothing to do with Ford or Ferrari.
Yeah.
Honda versus Toyota.
Honda versus, but those are both Asian
Yeah,
companies.
those are both
Okay, Honda versus
Honda versus
Ford.
like
Mustang
Dodge.
again?
or
Dodge?
something. Yeah.
Yikes.
that was the longest tangent.
No, it's fine. I don't know anything about it.
That's okay. I'm a big car person.
That's cool.
Shane over here, his dad has a Cobra in the garage. It's fine.
I want to see that.
Yeah, we'll have to look at it
Yeah.
after.
Set it. Drive it.
Well,
Not good with that.
thanks for listening to our car talk for the last 10 minutes.
Brought to you by Car Talk Radio.
You got anything else to say? What you got?
I don't got anything else to say. I just got on that tangent.
I
We
think
went from
the alcohol
Marvel,
kicked it. It went to quarantine.
quarantine to Marvel
Yeah,
to Fast and
No,
Furious.
quarantine Marcus's life. Alcohol kicked in. Marvel. Fast and Furious.
It's all a blur.
It's all
It's
blurred.
all blurred.
I'm actually like blurred up a little bit. I'm drunk, dude. I'm actually pretty drunk.
We're pretty
2 shots of
drunk.
that.
I will say,
I'm almost done with both.
I
these.
filled half this up with gin.
Yeah, that was aggressive.
I'm not a lightweight, but I haven't really eaten anything
That's
today.
all good.
So for that whole period of time where I wasn't talking, I was trying to focus on like what Marcus and Shane were talking about, but I wasn't talking because I was like in my own world of like,
Here's the series. Before we end this, top 3 movies
Oh shit.
of all time.
Oh no, dude! I hate it when people ask me.
Or
this
top
question.
5.
I watched too many
okay,
movies.
Okay, Top Gun.
It doesn't have to be in order. Just name your top like 5.
I'm going to say it in my order. Top Gun, Star Wars universe, The
Wait,
Dark Knight.
Wait,
Star Wars universe.
pause. You first of all, that's 3. You can't keep going. Second, you just said the entire Star Wars catalog. You can't just pick that. You gotta.
Why can't I pick
You have to
the
pick
Star
one
Wars
movie.
catalog?
No, you have to pick one movie in the Star Wars.
Pick your favorite.
Which one's the favorite? Best.
Pick your favorite kid. Draw on the others.
I don't even know Star Wars that well.
A New
so.
Hope. The OG
Oh wow,
first
good
one.
one. Okay.
I don't know. The
First one's good.
The first one. This is where it gets confusing. Episode number 1, The Phantom Menace, trash.
Okay.
Qui-Gon, Liam Neeson. That's the only movie Liam Neeson's died in because Darth Maul killed him. Clone Wars was absolute dog shit. Now
the third one was good.
The third one, The Revenge of the Sith. Is that the Revenge of the Sith?
The
third one's decent. The third one's actually decent. But if I'm actually, you know what? I take back the New Hope. Was it Rogue One, the one that kind of it almost bridged the Sith and A New Hope, right?
Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie.
That one is probably the actual best Star Wars movie. Now, if I'm starting to think back into in the most recent years, that one, the reason it's the best one out of the Star Wars movies is it bridges the gap between the weird, confusing universe of Star Wars, where it was the second 3, the first 3, then you have this weird gap. You don't know what goes on between when Anakin becomes Darth Vader and A New Hope happens, because you see Luke and Leia get born and nothing happens, and then you see this happen, and they bridged it perfectly where they went from basically that point on to where it almost cuts into that scene of where Darth Vader comes into the ship where Leia's on it, and then it leads us a New Hope.
Right.
Okay. The reason it was the best is it was a great bridge.
So Rogue One. So
Rogue One, Top Gun, Rogue One, The Dark Knight.
What a list.
That's a great list.
It's a good list.
How can you not Top Gun? Seriously.
Top
Gun 2, Maverick is going to be fucking outstanding. I don't care what anybody says.
If they release it with this damn coronavirus, you're going to sit here and not in the theater and watch
Maverick is fine.
No, we'll see.
Thank you, Tom Cruise.
Go ahead, Shane. I got to think. I watched too many movies. Anyone who knows me knows I watch.
You know what?
Dark Knight's one of
The
mine.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay. I knew you were going to say that.
I was watching that last night.
I knew you were going to say that.
I watched that till 2:30 this morning.
Wolf of Wall not Wolf of Wall Street.
It's a great movie.
Dark Knight is one of mine too. I love The Dark Knight. It's tough.
Damn.
It's between Friday Night Lights or Replacements.
I didn't even go into football movies.
I don't even know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know if you guys know The Replacements.
I do know The Replacements.
Shane Falco, dude. That's my
Shane Falco. If
that's probably my second. So, I'm not in order, but Dark Knight, Replacements.
This on Sunday? Is that in there?
That's a good movie.
Willie Beeman?
Tough.
Willie Beeman.
I watched that last week.
Beeman.
Last weekend, maybe I think I watched that. Great movie.
That's a good movie.
Cameron Diaz is in that. She's hot.
Is she? I don't remember. Damn.
Zombieland's a good movie.
Zombieland?
Yeah.
I have two. I don't know.
That's a good movie.
Good old Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd have to do 5 because it's too.
Go ahead. Do your thing. Do 5.
Okay, so Dark Knight, Replacements.
Good choices.
I'd have to say.
I'm actually looking up.
I was wondering if you were looking up.
I actually make a list. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a fucking nerd.
Happy Gilmore.
Oh, great movie. Junior. That's not Happy Gilmore.
Let's see. It's tough. Tough.
I mean, what about Lion King or
Yeah,
You can't go into the kid. Okay, so top 3 kids movies.
Wait, no.
Lion King, for sure. 100%.
Okay, that's number 1.
Toy Story.
It's number 2. That's a good one.
It's a great one. Buzz and Woody.
Yeah, those are
It's
probably
like
top
an alien.
Oh my god.
For any of you that haven't found that video.
You sent me that video.
That's a
You
great
showed it to me.
Oh, Book of Eli.
Oh,
that was on yesterday.
Love that
On TV.
movie.
All right, my turn.
That was another one. Go, Marcus.
Okay, number 1 by far, Return of the King. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. That's my favorite.
Ooh, I do.
Lord of the Rings is
low-key.
Lord of the Rings is good.
Anyone who knows me knows I love Lord of the Rings.
I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings. PlayStation 2, Twin Towers, Lord of the Rings.
Hey, that's a great
Get that
game.
game.
That's a great game. Man, it's so recent, so it's hard to say, but I'm such a huge movie person, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I just think it's so cool because of how they were able to weave all the stories together and tell something over the course
Avengers.
of 11 years. Yeah, so Avengers Endgame is just so good because it's a culmination of so many
That's so
things.
great movie.
Yeah, it's really good. So I'm just gonna cop out to that one, and then Mad Max Fury Road. Those are probably
that is a great movie.
those are probably my top 3, I guess. But I like
Pure Country, dude.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I like so many.
Super Troopers.
That's a great movie. That's one of the best comedies. But
It really is.
that's my problem with these lists is I watch
too
so
many,
many
yeah,
different
there's too
movies And I have different
Oh,
favorite
God.
ones for different reasons.
All right. Well, I just want to say that so we can give ideas when people are quarantining what they could watch and everything.
Well, I was talking to people.
If you haven't seen Super Troopers, that's
Yeah, Super
definitely
Troopers.
the repeater.
Okay.
Shaun of the Dead. That's a great one to watch.
That's
during quarantine.
hilarious. It's great.
And I was talking to some of my athletes, even some of my older ones. They're like, I don't know what that movie is. I'm like, how dare you? Go watch it. Cornetto trilogy is really good. All right.
Okay. Before we end it, one Netflix TV show that you recommend for our listeners to do while they're quarantined.
That 70s
to
show.
watch.
That's a good one.
Okay.
I've
That
watched
70s show.
You need something
great
with
one.
depth because we're gonna.
I think that's a good one because
Go-
the
go
younger
watch-
generation needs to watch that 70s show.
Yeah,
It's a
go
good
go
one.
watch Yellowstone.
like that.
Go watch the first 2 seasons of Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. What is Yellowstone?
You never watched Yellowstone?
Oh,
Is that like a nature
Yellowstone.
documentary?
No. It has
The guy who's in Jurassic Park, I forgot his name.
The main guy?
he's not in Jurassic Park.
Yes, he is.
Oh, I know it. Hold on. Give me a second.
Yes, he
No, he's
is.
not. I can't think of his
He's
name.
in like the first Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park. He's the one who made I think he made the.
He's
babies.
not in Jurassic
Yes,
Park.
he is.
No, he's not.
Okay, what is it? What is Yellowstone?
It's like so. It's basically it's a drama in Montana where a family owns a huge ranch. They're in a fight with the Native Americans of that same area over cattle. There's a lot of drama going
Over
on.
cattle?
They basically like the first season. I'm not trying to give a lot
They're
away.
going against.
It's land and cattle and
Interesting.
it's Yellowstone. Hold on. I'm pulling up. I can't think of it. Kevin Costner is not the.
Yes, he
He's
is.
not in Jurassic Park.
He's not in Jurassic Park.
Yes,
No,
I'm
he's not.
Almost like 100% sure.
Jamie, look that up first.
Okay, can you just look it up on Google right now?
Jurassic
Park, Kevin Costner.
Park. He's not in that cast. I'm just going to look at Jurassic Park cast.
I know Jurassic Park. He's not in
I know he's not either. You're thinking of Sam Neill.
Yeah,
the
Sam
same-
Neill.
They don't even look the same.
Maybe I'm thinking, what other movies does Kevin Costner? What other movies? Just look up real quick.
Dances with Wolves or Dancing
No.
with Dan.
I
Dances
know,
with Wolves, yeah.
I know, I get that, but look up other ones. I'm thinking of
Waterworld.
a different one.
Waterworld's terrible.
Hold on, I'm looking up. Just
Kevin
kidding.
Costner.
Dances with Wolves.
Oh,
The
Field of
Doctor,
Dreams,
Field of
yeah, Field of
Dreams.
Dreams, yeah.
He's also in Bull Durham, Waterworld. Bull Durham's a baseball movie.
Yeah, I knew that. That's what it's. Yeah. No one cares about baseball.
Draft Day.
Oh yeah, Draft Day.
A lot of baseball movies. What?
Draft Day is football.
No.
Huh.
Hidden Figures, For the Love of the
Okay,
Game.
so
Right,
that's
it's a lot of baseball.
Three
that's
baseball
70s show. What about you, Marcus?
Oh, damn.
Man of Steel. He was in 2013 Superman.
Yeah. So here's the thing with this quarantine Netflix binge. You need something with depth.
Yeah, you need.
Something you're gonna Breaking Bad. That's a great fucking
Breaking Bad
Netflix
is
show.
great, and it's one of the only shows I've ever seen that actually has a good ending. Most shows have shit endings, honestly.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad's great, and it's filmed in the Barky, where I went to college, so you can get to see all the.
Have you ever seen the house that he threw the pizza on?
Yeah, of course. It's you can't really like go there because
Yeah.
it's all because there's actually a family that lives there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they do anymore, but they did during the show, so they have it really gated off, and you
Wait,
can't.
so the family lived there while they were filming the show
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, so the family lived there while they were filming, so they had to like move them out. They like put them in a hotel.
So is that all the family's like furniture and shit in that house?
No,
No,
I think
okay.
I don't know, but so my friend Oscar, shout out to my man Oscar. He lived like literally down the street from Jesse Pinkman's house,
Yeah.
and it was always like filled with tourists and stuff. It was crazy.
I'm
But
sure.
anyway, it was really weird living there. While I actually saw Bryan Cranston. No one believes me when I tell the story because why would you? But I was getting my haircut on Central, which is for all you Berkey people, you know what Central is.
Berkey people, I've never heard that.
Berqueños, yeah. So anyway, I was getting my haircut on Central, and I see Bryan Cranston in a hat walk by. We make eye contact, and he's just walking with a hat on, headphones in. We make eye contact. I was like, "That's Bryan Cranston," and I was just like, I looked at my haircut guy. I was like, "That was Bryan Cranston." He was like, "Who?" I was like, "Damn." But anyway,
Sounds like a
let's see.
made-up story.
It's not made up. I swear, to God,
I believe you. I believe you.
Oh God. Anyway, so Breaking Bad's good. I think if you're looking for like something lighthearted, I gotta go with like Parks and Rec because everyone
Never
knows
seen
The
it.
Office. You never seen it? That's my
No.
point. So
Parks
everyone
and
knows The
Rec.
Office, but Parks and Rec is basically The Office just in a Parks and Recreation department in the state government. It's so funny. It's so good and it's
Is it better than
lighthearted.
The Office?
I like different characters in it than The Office. It's just as good, honestly.
Yeah.
It really is.
Okay.
And it's like 7 to 8 seasons, and they're all good.
Whereas like The Office died off at the end
After like season
when
8,
Steve Carell left.
Yeah. So they're all really good, and I recommend that. I guess Casey and I, what did we just watch? We just watched You season 1, season 2.
That I watched like the first season of that. It's a creepy ass show.
Yeah, it made me feel really gross, but especially because like by the end of
that's
season,
like Black Mirror.
that's a great show. Well, that kind of went off the rails actually. Black Mirror kind of pisses me off, but you was weird because you started to like cheer for this guy.
Yeah.
And he's a freaking, well, no spoilers, but he stalks women and he like does bad things to them, and you're saying, well, can I cheer for this guy? But you do, and it makes you feel weird. So anyway, and then we watched
Californication's really good TV. You haven't seen one? It's a decent one.
I
Californication.
think my mom watched that.
I've watched all of it.
Yeah, I watched that in college actually at one point.
I'd say mine. Friday
binged that
Friday
one
Night
every
Lights
night.
still.
The TV show or the movie?
TV show.
Oh, the TV show's
Friday
great.
Night Lights. The movie's great. I like the
Movie's good, but for some reason you connect more with the
The TV
players
show,
and
yeah.
the people in the TV show.
We got Tim Riggins,
Especially
man.
Lila Garrity, she's hot as fuck.
Lila Garrity. You got Lila Garrity and you got Tim Riggins. For all the honeys out there, you know, they like Tim Riggins.
Yeah,
He was like the idol
Yeah,
of
that's
all of
true.
our high school, college girls. They're all
He
like,
was the high school
"I
dude
love Tim Riggins."
that was out drinking all the time, then we'd go play football. It was basically you had for those football players out there, and I'm sure like even most sports,
Tim Riggins.
you had a Tim Riggins on your team.
Yeah.
I don't know that show.
You don't know that show?
I watched the
I
movie.
already watched it. It's on demand right now for HBO.
Watch Friday Night Lights.
I've seen the movie.
I wish they had more than 5 seasons. I wish they continued it on. What's McCall from Creed? Isn't that he's like one of the main characters?
I know, that's right.
Yeah.
I knew that. Yeah. Creed's a good movie.
Creed. Okay, Creed's a great movie. If we're talking Rockies, Creed is better than Rockies.
No.
Yes.
Don't ever.
No. 100%.
Rocky 1 and 2.
No.
3 and 4 are great.
Creed. No.
Okay,
Creed.
1, 2, and 4 are great.
1 and 2.
No.
And Drago.
No.
Yeah, that's Rocky 4, right?
Okay, yeah, because the third one's
Rockies are still.
Third one's
Mr. T.
Yes. Clubber Lane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't ever compare that.
Creed is better than Rockies.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Creed's good.
It's
Creed
good.
is
It's not
Rockies.
better than Rockies. Oh no.
Okay.
Well,
All right. Well,
this is
all right. Well,
Thanks for listening,
Thanks
guys.
for
Sorry, we
joining us
tangent
on
a lot.
our last tangent.
Shane and I kind of drank a lot today. Quarantine.
we got a little deep.
Do you have any last thoughts over there, Marcus? Tell to the people while they're quarantined.
Ooh, wow. Yeah. No, I don't know. I just think, obviously, if you're going through something, or you know someone who is going through something with this coronavirus stuff, it is very real to you, and it's really tough. I'm really sorry for all those people who are affected. For the rest of us, I think we have to just try to keep living life the best that we can. Be responsible citizens. All you a-holes on spring break in like Daytona Beach and stuff.
Honestly,
That is really hard to watch. So
you're all idiots.
you're all idiots, and
Go home.
you're part of the problem.
Dude.
But I don't know. I think in these tough times, it's going to make tougher people. So we'll be all right.
Side note.
Yeah.
So yesterday, Shane and I were like messaging back and forth between the Books and Brewskies account and my account, like my personal account. We were just joking around. I was like, "Oh, let's do some like alcoholic ski luges." Today, I saw a video on spring break of like 5 or 6 people, a couple girls, a couple dudes doing luges, beer luge out of like drinking. If you don't know what a luge is, out of ass. Like they're like all bent over, like
Some butt chug.
that's basically that. That is how
Disgusting.
you spread coronavirus.
That's how you spread a lot more than a coronavirus.
You know what? You're killing me, Smalls. You're done.
So,
I don't have any.
butt chugs. You're killing me, small.
Butt checks. You're killing me, Smalls.
Maybe.
Spring breakers.
Yeah. So
Killing me, small.
You're killing me,
only
Smalls.
small spring breaker. Yeah, I guess. But yeah, no, I don't know. Just keep your head up and try to live life the best that you can, and obviously take low risks, but. We just gotta keep chugging on.
Low risk, high reward.
Yeah. And I don't know. So everyone, all my athletes out there, you guys know I love you. I'm gonna do the best for you in this hard time. And so I don't know.
Game on.
Game on.
Car. Game on.
Game on.
Thanks for
All right,
listening,
guys.
everybody.
Thanks for listening to us on the show. Tune in next week. I know you guys don't got anything
Marcus.
going on. So
Marcus
tune
Miller,
in.
thanks for joining us.
Marcus
Thank
Miller,
you.
thanks.
At Marcus_Marcus.
At Mark. No, that's not right. It's at Markus Miller __.
Yeah, we'll be shooting. We'll be
At
shouting.
With a K.
Jumps.
Marcus with a K.
At Miller Jumps is no longer available.
dead.
It's a dead count.
Marcus with a K.
Oh, and go get some Tommy Knockers and some Bristol
Hey,
Brewing.
Tommy Knocker.
If you're 21
I
or
like the
older.
Tommy Knocker.
Yeah, I do too. Tommy Knocker.
I'm gonna go Tommy Knocker. Juice.
And I really enjoyed my Monster Mix G&T today.
Ugh.
Marcus also had a Stella.
I did.
Anyhow, we're gonna close it out on that. Thanks for
Alright, guys.
Thanks Marcus for joining us. Thanks for Shane for hosting at the Moody Mansion. As always, in the Books and Brewskies studio. We'll see you next week, episode 10.
Let's go.